Hey, what's going on, parents? Happy Teenager Tuesday.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to be with you today.
Yes.
My name is Tysha.
Yeah, if you don't recognize the voice.
Yes.
Tysha Solomon, the one and only.
The one and only. I'm the student pastor at the Frisco East Campus. I'm so excited to be on the podcast today.
It is.
With Will Perry.
Yeah, and if we haven't got the chance to meet, I'm Will. I'm the lead student pastor here at Hope. And if you're new to the podcast, maybe somebody from our church shared it with you, or there's youth pastors kind of around the area, country-ish.
Right.
Globally.
I was just going to say that. Globally.
That listen to our podcast. So if it's helpful for someone in your life, please like, share, and like, subscribe, and share and follow, depending if you're YouTube, all that.
How you're listening to it.
We're way off. We're starting a series today.
Yes.
We're starting a series that'll kind of run. Really, this is our last series to end the year on how to capitalize on ...
Right.
And it's just simply kind of very topical on how to capitalize on different things. And Tysha is really leading the discussion today, talking about dinners. I'm a big fan of eating dinner.
Yeah. Well, I have three teenagers. So 2 of them are actually in college now. Just happened this year. Quickly, faster than I'd like, as most parents realize that. And then I have a 16-year-old and Cody, Cody Bodie. And over the years, one of the things that we have really focused on and made an important thing in our life is to have family dinners.
Yeah.
Now, we've done this very regularly in our home multiple times a week. And I know that it can be like literally crazy. There are a million things going on in everybody's lives between school, sports,
and
pets.
Honestly, you get tired.
And
it is probably more comfortable on most couches to eat, and it's more
and
relaxing.
To watch something because it does help you kind of, I don't know if numb out is the right word.
Probably it's a good word. Yeah,
because you've just been going so much.
Yeah.
But when you do that, I don't know that you're necessarily relationship building with your kids,
For sure.
My whole goal is that, I'm parenting my kids, but when they become adults, I want them to be my friends.
Oh, yeah.
So in order for me to do that, I feel like there has to be a groundwork for relationship building, even when they're teenagers. So that has always been something that my husband and I, Kenneth, that we have found really important to do, is just make sure that we are finding ways to relationship build with our kids.
Yeah.
And we've done that with family dinners around the table.
That's good. I mean, you wrote some tips for us, kind of 2 main points, and then we have some other things.
Yeah.
But, consistency is just probably the hardest part of this.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like people get tired. My wife, we have a 1-year-old and I have a very pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Who, as of recording this, is about 6 weeks away from her due date.
That's wild.
Which is why. So we're tired all the time.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's easier to kind of fall back into this rhythm of consistently eating on a couch and watching a TV and not having, like Tim Elmore in his research talked about this face-to-face bonding between parent and kid, And
it doesn't just happen. It has to be something that you intentionally do.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you'll find that you've gone weeks without really speaking any conversation or having any conversations of substance with your kids. It's just kind of like, hey, what do you need for this project? Or how's the sport going? It's
small talk.
It's small talk and it's not really relationship building. And we would fall into that too. And so that's why I think it was so important for us to make sure that we were having consistent family dinners. And I think one of the reasons that we love having them is because it is hard anyways to connect with students. Like if you are a parent of a teenager, you know that. It can be very, very hard. And you hear your students like talking to their friends and they're talking about all the things, and then they're sitting at a table with you and it's like crickets and they're on their phone and you're like, hey, you need to talk to me too, right?
Yeah.
But how can you expect that if you're not relationship building with them? And so,
and it's work.
It is work.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons we have decided that we wanted to do that and stay consistent in it is because we wanted to get our students talking and just keep talking.
Yeah.
And we were just going to listen and ask questions when we could. And
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, and there's been some great fruit in your own family with this over the years. So let's jump into it. What do you got for us?
Well, I would say if you haven't done family dinners before, I know it can be really looming because there's all these questions. What do you talk about? My students are crazy. Do they even want to talk to me?
Yeah.
How do we keep the conversation going? How do I even capitalize on family dinners and make them worthwhile? And I do have a couple thoughts here today that I wanted to share. The first one is making them device free.
Yeah.
Not just for your students, but for you too. Because I find that if you are like, no devices for kids and for students, and you have your device right next to you, one, I mean, you are tempted to grab it if a text comes through or an alert comes through just to check it out. And that literally squashes any momentum that you have made up to this point in the family dinner. And you see your students start checking out because you've checked out. And it might have been unintentional, but it happens that way. And so my first huge thing is making it device free. I think more than anything, this helps tremendously is making it device free.
I wonder if it helps so much just because I saw this research on being bored and how being bored is good for kids.
Yeah.
Like specifically little kids to like develop creativity and problem solving and stuff. And I wonder if it, in a similar vein, if it's like similar for us as families of like, hey, with quiet and no screen, that's a good thing because it takes
time. It's forcing us to like
make connection,
be creative in different ways instead of, like we mentioned earlier, just kind of numbing out and letting something entertain us. We have to come up with our own form of entertainment, I guess, so to say.
Yeah, that's good. No devices.
No devices. Yes. So I would say that device free is huge. And maybe you don't like the quiet. So like we have an Alexa. We also have a radio, which is crazy, but my husband has all these old radios in our house. So we just turn on the radio.
Players, boombox.
Actually, yes. All the things. So outing my husband there. But we sometimes will turn on music, and we found that just even having that background noise is helpful because we're singing along to songs together. We're talking and just talking more about our lives.
That's good. A lot of Sabrina Carpenter in the background. Just kidding.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Parents, if you don't know her, you should probably look up her music and probably not have students listen to it. Okay.
Yeah. So very good advice.
Yeah. All right. Device free.
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
So my second, I really only have two tips today.
Yeah.
Well, I have a few smaller ones, but one, device free. Second is ask questions.
What do you mean?
Ooh, I like that. Just like you're doing right now. I think that questions around the dinner table are so crucial to learning more about your student and their life. And this takes time. I will say this takes time because, one, students often think, I can't open up to my parents. They don't understand me.
Oh, yeah.
They won't really know what's going on in my life. But I've come up with a couple of questions that I asked almost routinely every time. One was, what's the worst thing that happened in your day? Because I want to know, like, hey, what's something that you're struggling with or a conversation you had? Or are you failing in a class that I don't even know about, or just struggling in a class even? Or maybe someone said something to them today that is literally weighing on their mind, but they won't bring it up because are they making a big deal out of it? You know, like that type of thing. Excuse me. And so I would say, what's the worst thing that happened in your day? The second, what was the best thing that happened in your day? I love this question because it also gets people to look at the positive side. I always ask this question second also because I want to end on a good note.
Oh.
So I always try to start with the like Debbie Downer questions and then move to the, hey, what's the good side? Tell us, where's the glass half full instead of half empty?
Yep.
And then I love this question. How did you help someone else today?
Ooh.
How did you help someone else today so that they're constantly looking for something where they are looking outward and not being inward focused and like reaching out to someone else? And then another question is, how did someone help me today? Or how did someone help you today? So that you can recognize people in your life that are of value, and you can go back and be like, hey, when you did that yesterday, that was a really big deal for me. Thank you for doing that. So they're recognizing that not only are they designed to help people, but people are designed to help them too.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
those are the two things, device free and ask questions.
Yeah, and those are good questions. Now, what would you say to a parent if they're like, well, those questions are okay, but then I might forget questions, and what do I do? It's just going to be awkward.
I think there's a couple things. One, Google questions, ask your kids. There's tons of get to know you questions. Would you rathers even? That's really fun.
We do those in small groups all the time.
We do. Yeah. And it's fun to do around the dinner table too with your kids because you learn so much about them. Also, there is this deck of cards kind of. It's actually in this like plastic box, and it's called Tabletop Conversations. And there's one that's like Tabletop Conversations with Families. You can find it on Amazon or somewhere online.
Yeah, Kelsey and I have a similar, I forget what, maybe it's that one. I don't know.
It might be. Because there's a bunch of different ones that go along with it. But the family one's so cool, and you can draw out a card or have someone do it and just everybody answer the question on the card. It's really fun to do that too. So And I would just also make sure your kid gets a chance to talk, like especially the kids who are quieter and the kids who maybe won't say anything unless you spur them on. Like, hey, Johnny, what did you think about that? Sally, what about you? Tell me what your answer is to that question, and allow them to have the space to speak what they want to speak and say what they want to say, so that they're not the ones that are always hiding in the shadows. And this can be difficult because I am an extrovert, so I'm always talking. And so I have to learn how to be quiet and ask the question and be a good listener.
Yeah, no, that's good. And that's so big because one feedback or critique, whatever, that my family has given me is like, like, oh, you didn't tell us that. Like, wait, and my response always is, well, you didn't ask.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had that since I was a kid. So yeah, I mean, I love that. Asking so many questions just spurs that conversation on and knowing each other deeper.
Yeah. I think it's good to share about your day too, just so that it is like a back and forth conversation. And then even if it feels awkward, I would just say continue to be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent with them. Even if you have to start out with one time a week, be consistent in that one time a week. I would try to do a couple times a week, but I know this is a crazy area. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And it depends on, if soccer season might not work out, but come, football season, you're fine or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
And you can do it more consistently.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's good.
I love it.
Yeah,
so,
thank you, Tish.
Yeah, for sure. I hope these were helpful for you. All these tips, bringing your family together around the table, eating together, talking, laughing, sharing, making family traditions. Boy, we love you, and we just hope you find these helpful. So don't forget, parents, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we. We'll see you next time.
See y'all.